Alright, F the intro, let's just get immediately to it. So this is going to be me installing the Tremol-No system on this guitar. Because even though floating bridges are nice, I don't particularly like them because I like to switch around with my tunings quite a lot. And since this is my first baritone guitar, I want to experiment with it. So I'm just going to be locking the Tremolo system, which means that I'm going to have to install a Tremol-No because I don't actually want to be modifying the body. So the first thing I was doing right there was check the string action to see how it came out of the factory because I don't want to change that. So what I'm doing now is basically unscrewing the locking nut so I can start detuning all the strings one by one, or not one by one, all of them simultaneously actually, because otherwise you'd be breaking some strings. And I'm dropping down the bridge until it's completely down and until it hits the body. So now I'm going to be removing the back cover so I can expose the strings, and once I have those exposed I can remove them, because then I have to remove the spring clamp, the hook clamp thing, I don't know what you call that, and that entire part has to be replaced with the Tremol-No system that I got. Now this is the second time that I install a Tremolo system on a guitar. My 6-string has it as well, so it's nothing new, but this is a brand new Prestige guitar. It's my first brand new Prestige, so I was still quite nervous to work on it. Keeping in mind this was also the very first day I got it, so I definitely did not want to screw it up. So in my unboxing video, I was talking about how this tool is a little bit bulky to work with. It's a little bit difficult to maneuver around with, and when unscrewing things you can see it's not that handy. So as I said, it's nice for emergency cases, but I still recommend using a regular screwdriver. This video is fast forwarded by about 6 times, so it took me 6 times longer than what you're seeing right now. Then what I wanted to do was desolder the ground wire that Ibanez has soldered to that clamp, but for some reason I couldn't quite get my soldering iron hot enough to desolder it. Must be the type of soldering tin that they used. Tried to scratch it up, maybe it had a coating on it preventing me from heating up the tin properly, but it still wouldn't start flowing, so I just decided to cut it instead. There you go, that's the clamp we are replacing. So now I'm just unpacking the Tremol-No system. And I wanted to solder a bit of tin to it because I actually wanted to solder the ground wire to make sure that it was grounded properly. But it seems that the material the Tremol-No is made out of doesn't quite take to tin. As you can see, it kept breaking loose. So I just decided to remove the tin and just install it the way it's supposed to. I then reminded myself of back when I installed it on the 6-string. The Tremol-No actually has a small screw you can put a ground wire through to make sure that the system is grounded. So it's basically a solderless connection. There you go. So now I grabbed an actual screwdriver, and as you can see, it's much faster to work with. Also, there's a little bit of video footage missing because my camera decided to cut out, but the bulk of the work is still there. That's me installing the ground wire to the clamp. And now I am starting to put some tension on the strings again, trying to get the bridge to lift up and try to get it back to its starting position. Now at this point I did notice that there was a bit of resistance in the actual Tremol-No system. I could hear it scratch on the backside, so I was trying to investigate where that scratching was coming from. I thought maybe one of the screws was scratching the pole piece that is actually that the Tremol-No system glides over. Those screws that I'm fiddling around with right now, basically. But then turned out that the string clamp, the hook thing, wasn't quite straight yet, which meant that the entire anchor wasn't completely straight either, and that's what was causing the resistance. So I ended up loosening the actual clamp on the Tremol-No, which connects to the actual floating bridge itself. I ended up loosening that, making sure that the entire system is straight, realigning it, fastening it again, and then it was basically good to go. So that's me loosening it. And that's literally all it took. And now, upon further testing, it has zero resistance. Checking the action, making sure it's back to its original. This is me making sure that the bridge goes back to its center position. And then it's just a matter of putting all the screws back into place and locking the entire system down. Playing around with the fine tuners a bit, which I hardly use anyway. And that's me just playing around a little bit. The guitar was totally out of tune, obviously, but it was just to make sure that the feel was alright. String action is good. Wonderful tool, actually. Very compact, very useful. And that's pretty much about it. That's just me anchoring down the Tremol-No to the actual screws that go into the body, and that's that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys sometime soon.